Hello everybody, welcome to Let's Learn. I'm your Excel instructor. Guys, today we will be learning about join function in VBA. Guys, let me walk you through about what is join function. Join function itself is self-explanatory function. So now you have an idea about what we are talking here. We are talking about join function, and you can see the argument. We require two arguments: source array comma delimiter. Guys, when you find something in the formula in square bracket, what does it mean? It means it is optional. Whether you give it or not, by default it will treat either comma or tab. That I will tell you. So now you see that if omitted, the delimiter is set to be space. So by default we have space over there. So now VBA join function join together an array of strings and return single string. Guys, let me tell you the secret about join function. So if I take you to the second slide, this slide, you can see join only works with one dimensional array, 1D array. If you have a range, so you have to convert that into 1D array, then only it will work. So guys, now you understood that in my previous videos, when I was talking about concatenate function, or I talked about lots of things about how to join the strings. Guys, when it comes to join the strings, about lots of data you have in one particular column or maybe in a range. So rather than looping through, you can use this particular function, which is amazing and comes to rescue when it comes to big data. All right, let me take you one the Excel file where I have the data. So guys, let's do this activity with two ways in Excel. How we can do this, how we can concatenate everything. So either you can do this way. So let me do all the possible scenarios which can actually help you to understand how you can concatenate or join the strings together. Either you do this activity, select all the cells one by one. What if you have 30 and 40 or 50 cells which you have to do this? Don't you think it is very cumbersome? Nobody likes such kind of work. So this concatenate is working fine, but nobody liked this kind of, because it will take lots of time. Guys, now I tell you the shortcut. If you have to concatenate all the data within a second, you have to use transpose function in Excel and select everything. If you have to give a delimiter, suppose I want to give pipe delimiter, so you can just select everything and select this entire formula and press F9 to open this formula and remove the curly bracket. Now you have an idea about what actually I'm going to do. This is what we supply in the concatenate function, selecting all the cells one by one, and this is all we have done in just seconds. Now this is what we have achieved. But there is a problem with this formula, guys. Now I tell you what is the problem with this formula. If you add something, guys, this actually is not dynamic at all. This is actually serving our purpose. If we know that this is the data, then we of course select this only range, and then we get the output. So guys, this is much better what we were doing earlier and wasting time by selecting all the cells one by one. But still, I'm not happy with this, but this is the workaround. Now I tell you the shortcut. So if I get the if I take you to the next sheet, so maybe if you have to do, there is another way you can do this way, and you can actually concatenate, which is possible by using ampersand also. Now you can actually do this way. So this is kind of a mountain we have created. If you want to give some delimiter, you can give to your requirement. So now if you see that all the values are separated by this hyphen, so this actually is also fine. But still, why we should do all that? These are the workaround to find out the concatenate all the values. So now let me tell you, there is a function called join in VBA which actually solves the problem. So let's write that code with VBA and how we can achieve the result. And how we can make it dynamic. So it will take hardly 1 minute to write VBA code. Guys, why VBA is mandatory when it comes to advanced Excel? Because you have to know such kind of stuff. Suppose in the software where you are working in office, you have to concatenate 100 values or 200 value, that you have to copy paste in the software and get the data out. So there you cannot do one by one, or you cannot make a formula like a mountain. It's very disorganized. If you know this little bit about join function in VBA, definitely you can solve the problem by yourself. So now I am actually, this tool is already, if I do F12, as I mentioned already in my previous videos, before any code is written in VBA, you have to save the file with Excel macro enabled workbook. Otherwise your code will get lost. To avoid your code being, to avoid your code, you know, uh, being lost, you can actually save it first, Excel macro enabled workbook. Now after we have saved this, we have to work on this sheet. Let me take this proper valid name, data. So we have the data tab, and we have the product, this A column where we have the data is located. Now the objective is that we have to join the products in one cell. How we can do that? Let me just insert the module. As I mentioned, we have to start our code with sub join string. This is the subroutine, the macro, or the this is the macro name, join the strings, and we are automating this task, how to concatenate all the values in one cell. Guys, as I mentioned, there are lots of ways, but I really prefer doing with join function, which actually solves all the problems. Now you have to understand, let me do this first without join, or maybe with join. So let's do this with join first, then you will understand better. So guys, this is actually my data. So first you have to define that how to make the data dynamic. So it's very simple. As I mentioned in all my code, first you have to activate the sheet, worksheets, data dot activate. All right, and this is actually the file sheet we have activated, and this dim arrow as long. All right, and simultaneously we are telling I as long. Guys, you can define this way also, or maybe you can define this way also, dim arrow comma I as long. Guys, both the ways are perfect. Whatever you will like, you can use either of them. All right, let me comment it. All right, and now what is my arrow? Arrow equal to active sheet dot cells rows dot count comma, either you can write this way, all right, or either you can write this way, both are fine, dot and excel up dot row. So guys, this is the data, dim arrow as long, I as long, because when you have to find out the last row, so you have to travel every row. All right, you have to pass by every cell. So that's why you have to define I. This is the end point, and this is the starting point where we are starting our loop. So now how you can do this with a join function? Guys, you have to define one more variable, actually dim rng as range, or dim rng1 as variant. This is the standard way where we are writing the code. So now with this workbook dot worksheets data and width. In my previous videos, I have already talked about how to define the dynamic range. Guys, remember always this kind of syntax. And if you have this kind of syntax in your mind, trust me, you will never go failure in terms of making the range dynamic. Set rng equal to dot range dot cells. This is first row, first column. Since we know our data is located in first column itself, and this is the last row, and this is the first column. Guys, now you see this is my range, which is dynamic. Let me save the code. Guys, when you are a developer, you have to ensure that your code should not go lost. I know that nobody likes rework. So if you write some 10-15 lines of code, so get used to saving the code. Either you save this purple color control S, or either you actually do control S, whatever you have option. Since you have to save almost 1,000 times, so better you do with mouse, or if you don't have mouse, without mouse if you work, so be careful, control S you have to save. So guys, because this is my experience and I'm just telling you from my experience, this is really helpful. Now, how we can make it dynamic? As you know that dim RNG1 as variant. So guys, understand what is that RNG1 as variant, what we are going to do here. So RNG1 equal to, we have to transpose, because transpose is the function where we can actually make this in an array, and then I will tell you everything why we need that. Application dot worksheet function, all right, dot transpose. All right guys, so here you can use rng dot value. So guys, now this is actually the array. Let me tell you something. If you do transpose for this item, so you understand we have done this transpose, and now if you open this, press F9. Guys, understand when we need array, we always deal with comma. So this is why we are actually transposing this vertical into horizontal. Now you understood, because we need comma. So now it has, all the values are separated by comma. That's why we have transposed that, and this is called 1D array. All right. So how we can actually join the strings? Suppose I want my output to be located or to be placed in this C4 cell. So you can just write here range C4 dot value equal to, guys, this is the function which I was talking, source array comma delimiter. So rng1 comma maybe this is the delimiter, and now if you run this code, you can see everything is concatenated. If I add over there kiwi, so now see the result, kiwi is also there guys. All right, you can see kiwi as well. If I add, suppose apple is there, orange is there, banana is there, pomegranate is there. Okay, let me tell you CHIKW chiku. Okay, or maybe sapodilla and chiku, both are same I think. Now let me run that. So see that chiku and sapodilla. All right, so guys, everything is perfectly fine. This is how we can actually join the data. Now you understand why did we transpose this, because we want all the values separated by comma. So if you do transpose with the formula, you can see the difference. This is why we have done the transpose usage over there. Press F9, everything is separated by comma. I hope guys you understood this very well. This is the code we have written where we have converted this our dynamic range into array. So this is how we can convert. Transpose itself is array function, and now we have passed this value to join function, and we got the output. All right guys, I hope guys you found this useful. Within second code is working. Now let me tell you, if you have to make the button, Control C, and now go to design mode, and now this is the command button. Just park this somewhere else, and now go there and you can write call this. All right, and if you you can just click the button. If you write ABC, click the button, ABC has come. Or if you want to make it this way, so irrespective of whatever value you have, so you can see, if I just drag these values, understand that, or maybe sorry, if I drag these values, let me just do this way. Okay, now we don't know how many fruits we have, just like this, all the things are concatenated within just seconds. All right, so guys, I hope you found this useful, and now let me do the same job with actually simple without join function, so that you have an idea about how we can execute such kind of task with or without join. So now this is the function with join. Let me insert another module, and sub without join. All right, Control R. Guys, I'm going to my previous code. At least let me copy this entire thing. Control C, because we are recycling little bit. All right, So now we need L row, we need I, actually we don't need. All right, and RNG variant we don't need, worksheet, and this is actually the range. All right, so guys, as I mentioned already, if you define a range, you have to empty the, or maybe do like that, set RNG equal to nothing after the code is run thoroughly. This is the best practice which you have to get used to initially. So now you know, we have defined the range which is already declared, and this is how we are emptying the range, and everything looks okay. Guys, one more thing, if you have the range, so you have to loop through all the range. So here we have to use for each loop. So here you can define one more variable cell as range. All right, and now if we have to concatenate, so that also dim result result as string. All right, so now let me tell you what we are doing over there. For each cell in RNG, and now we have to write next cell. Guys, you know, this is how we can loop through all the range one by one, but now we want to store that string somewhere else, equal to result ampersand. I want maybe pipe symbol, pipe separator, and here you can write cell dot value. So this is another way, and now where you want this to be parked, C4. So what you can write, range C4 dot value equal to result. Guys, if you run this, you know this is also working. So now you are getting pipe symbol to the very first. So how we can remove this? Guys, very simple. VBA dot write. This is the actually control C, and here you can write length of this minus 1. And now if you write this function again, you can say from the beginning also we have removed this. I hope guys you also found this useful, and this is another way where you can join the strings. So these are two functions. So this is without control C. Let me park this somewhere, go to view, and grid line I'm removing, and now guys see that, and let me, yes, so guys this is the code. Let me color this. Okay, so this is without join, we have used this function. So now you understood that this is the last row we have defined just to ensure our range should be dynamic. So whatever we add over there, so if we have the range dynamic, so that will cover L row. Of course the data is kept in column 1, this is column 1, and this is column 1, and now we know that our range starts with 1, so that's why we have put 1, and this is the last row. All right, and now we are looping through all the cells of this particular range. So we are using for each loop, for each cell in RNG. So after we get each cell, we are storing this to result, and result equal to result, because initially result is blank, so result equal to this pipe symbol and that value. So maybe to make you understand better, let me run this step by step. So now if you're running this code over here itself, what we have written, data.activate. So this is how we have to write very first line. So wherever you are, see guys, there are two things, there are lots of ways to run the macro. If you go to macro, so lots of people actually run from there. So whether you are here or if you go to macros, you can actually without join, you can run the macro where the output will be same. All right, now if you remove this, and suppose if you are here, or maybe if you are here, or if you go to macro, if you want to run this without join, you can see output we are getting perfectly fine because of this sheet is activate. So this is the way where you have to organize your code. Now let me remove this and show you a little bit how it is working. If I run this faster, and now see that very first value is product, and what actually this result will store, you can see that if I press F8, so this is product. So now if I run it again step by step by pressing F8, after product it is carrot. All right, now there is a problem in this code. We are actually concatenating product also. Maybe you can start your range from 2. All right, now you see this is how the data looks like. So this is all better. Control R. If I show you another example where we have join string with join function, control C, and if I go to my this, and this is with join function, we have control B. So guys, look at this code also. which can help you better understand how to concatenate the entire column data. And this is without join. We have used that. All right. And now let me tell you something. Uh, Maybe some basic example I can get you. Now you know how you can concatenate, and this is all basics. Like first we have to use transpose, and same thing we have used over there, but that transpose we have passed to join function, which actually works on 1D array. Always it doesn't work on 2D array or 3D array. It always works on 1D array, one dimensional array. All right. So now let me tell you another example. Module this sub basic join. Maybe it can also get you a little better understanding. If I tell over there dim name str as string. All right. So what you can do, if I tell over there, there are two names will be passed to that. So control C, and this 0 equal to Matthew. And now if I just control C and control V, guys, if I tell 2, so it means 0 1 2. All right, because by default array index starts with 0. Matthew MPP, and now I'm writing NPPV. Okay, this is the name, dummy names. So now we have to concatenate all these things. So you can use MSG box, and you can use join, and you can control space and AME. If you don't want to copy paste or something, you can just like that. And delimiter, I want pipe symbol. Guys, you can see this is the result. We have concatenated all separated by pipe symbol. So now you know that this is what we have done, because this array we have defined and that array we have passed over there. All right, so it actually works only on one dimensional array. It doesn't work on 2D or 3D array. It always works on 1D array. All right, guys, so this is all about join function. Guys, let me tell you something about this. If you have this particular data, I just tell you about how you can concatenate all the values in one cell. It's very simple. First you have to go row by row. All right, and now if you have this kind of data, assume that, so you have to convert that range into array. So guys, you have to transpose 2 times this value. Always remember, because if you do this way, this is the range, and now you see this is the value where you are getting. Press F9. All right, press F9. So all the values you are getting separated by comma. But in this case, if you use transpose once, it will make everything in vertical, and again it will make it in horizontal. So 2 times you have to use transpose function over there, and then of course it will work concatenate all the values subject to your requirement. So I hope guys it is clear, or if you want I can cover this also now, so that you will have better understanding about that. All right, maybe let me tell you, or let me cover that also, so that it will get you better understanding about how to do that. Okay, sub range join. Okay, how you can range join the range. Guys, understand, if we have to do this activity, what we can do, dim, first we have to find out the column. Dim call count as integer. This is actually the one type of data, one variable. And now first you have to activate this. Control C, and you can write worksheets. Control V dot activate. So once you come here, you have to find out last row. So dim L row as long. So now what is L row? Equal to active sheet dot cells rows dot count comma 1 dot and excel up dot row. So guys, this is the last row. It is perfect. And now what we can do, let me find out the column count. So how we can find out? I tell you the another way. Equal to range a1 dot current region dot columns dot count. All right, columns dot count. So column will be 6. If I put the breakpoint there, you can see column will be 6 and last row will be 22, which is perfect, guys. So let me save this code. Now you understood this is the best practice. After we have run, we are ensure everything is fine and we have saved this code also. Now what is our next step? Now guys, understand we have to actually loop through all the data. How we can do that? There are two things. Let me make it smaller, maybe dim cell as range. All right, so you can say for uh, each cell in range a1 comma range a2 dot and excel down. Okay, it is there. So what is happening here? So you know that this is the shortcut, I'm adopting to complete this faster. So guys, what is happening? We know our data is very clean. There is no space in between. It will just do this way, control shift down, and it will, make the loop up to 22. So now this is actually the way where we can loop through all the rows, and so that we know about the column limit also, and we can make the range dynamic. So now, very simple, guys, what we can do here, where we want our output to be placed, cell dot offset cell. Okay, guys, we can do CELL cells, cell dot row comma, which column we want. Let me put it in 8th column, the output dot value. Guys, I told you that line continuation character, if you just put equal to and space underscore, now you can start your second line, and from there where this cursor is blinking. So next line. So now what we can do here, very simple, guys. Application dot transpose. Okay, application dot worksheet function dot transpose. So you are using this function, control C. All right, and now you have to make the range dynamic. So you can use cell dot resize. Guys, let me tell you about resize command in VBA. Actually, this command we use in VBA to make the new range. Now understand what is my cell. Assume A2 is my cell, because A1 through A2, assume A1 is my cell. I'm just telling from A1 how many columns it should actually select. I know it is the first row. All right, so row size. So resize means you can say that we have to be very careful here. Row size, of course, row size should be 1. It's not for one row or first row. Row size should be 1. And column size, of course, we have used our column variable over there, column count. All right. And now see, this is the function we have used. As I mentioned, we have to use again this function, application.transpose, twice when we have the range in horizontal. So now if you run this code, you see it is not working. All right, it is not working at all. So guys, what is the problem in this code? That we can, but output we are getting is perfectly fine. All right, so now I tell you what is the problem in this. Cell dot resize 1 comma call dot count, or maybe dot value. All right, dot value. So now if you just run this, see it is not working. No problem, we will see, and this is called debugging. So now it is good, actually it is not working. We will actually copy this entire thing, control C, and we will put there dot select. All right, and now we'll put our breakpoint here. Guys, understand whatever I'm doing, this is called debugging. Now see that it is telling select 1 comma 6 value. All right, if you press F8, it is selecting entire row. All right, it is selecting entire row. So now what we can do, cell dot row is perfect, and this is selecting entire row. And if you just press F8 multiple times, you can see it is selecting everything so nicely. All right, but guys, it is not working when it comes to concatenating the entire things. Did you notice something? We have not used our join function over there. All right, so now we have to use our join function here. That's why it is not working. Now you see it is working. So if you run this code, you see this is actually working so nicely. So it has concatenated all the series over there. If you see that, it has concatenated all the series, all the header, all the data from 4 to Canada, 4 to Canada. So I hope guys you found this useful. Since we have not passed anything in this function, you can say this is the join function. I want the delimiter should be pipe. Now if you run this code, you see that all the values are separated by pipe symbol. So now if you look at this entire segment or entire code, how did we do that? It's very basic. Otherwise, if you do this with VBA I and j variable, where I is row and j is column, so every time you have to run the loop unnecessarily. I tell you, there are 22 into 6, guys. 22 into 6, and now you can see 132 times you have to loop through all the cells. And this is something we are doing, this and this, we are making the range all the time by using resize function. And this is amazing example where it can help you to understand resize function very well. All right, and now that's why we have used this line of code, so that it can select all the cells one by one. Maybe you can do something once actually this is selecting, I want to paint that also. So interior dot color equal to VB green. So you know that it is also better. So you are actually selecting all the cells one by one, like that. It is actually making the row in a green paint. All right, and now this is the way where you can actually concatenate your data. So now you understood why we have used 2 times transpose function here. Very simple, guys. If you had seen this kind of code, only one time we have used the transpose function, because if you use this transpose function over there, again I'm telling you guys, my objective is to make you awesome in Excel VBA. So if you use this transpose, because one time we have to use press F9, because now everything is coming separated by comma. So if you look at this data sample, all right, and now see the data is already in horizontal way, but we have our range is dynamic. After we got the range, this is actually for each cell, this is the range. So with the usage of this particular, if we know over this location, if we know this location, we know that our column limit is 6, and accordingly we can make the range dynamic, so that it can be used over there. Now you see that we have used this value, cell dot resize 1 comma column count dot value. Guys, actually we have used this, this is the range, and we have used transpose function, so that it actually, this is the value. Understand now. Let me take you somewhere so that you will understand better. This is a value. So what we are doing, first time we are using transpose function, and we are actually making this way. Understand? Okay. And after we have copied again, then we are putting back over there. So it's almost same thing. All right. Because already it is in horizontal way. So now that's what we are doing. I know the solution is very weird, but actually this is how it should work, because it works only in 1D array. So guys, if we look at this data, how do you call this? This is 1 by 1 by 5 array. All right, and now we actually want this to be in 1D array. And if you use this transpose function twice, then only it comes in 1D array. So you can actually explore more on that. And I hope guys you found this session useful, and this is wonderful if you really practice join function as much as possible. And today we had let me just copy this entire code also. Today we have discussed all kinds of scenarios where you can actually learn Excel VBA better. So this is actually a range join code, guys. So guys, thank you very much for joining the session. and I hope you enjoyed the session very much. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.